right, so let's start off with the biggest story in the country, which is the release of Comfort Emerson from Kiri Kiri. We had a guest yesterday on the show who said this is not over. He said he doesn't think this is over. And I guess, what do you mean it's not over? I think I want the story to be over. But you know, he said it's not over. What do you make of it, where we are right now in the conversation? Released, we heard from her lawyer this morning on the morning brief. We also heard from the passenger sitting next to her, and then these stories about this particular air hostess and her behavior with other passengers. Where are you on this matter?
Well, you know, the first thing is that we are acting as though we don't understand the implications, the full implications of what we are doing as a people. And this is a collective point of reflection for all of us. Everybody is taking sides here and there. And it reflects the fact that indeed the blames are spread. Now, what I consider to be the most significant in all of this is what the government does. My father used to tell me that you must always have a moral superiority if you are a leader. Because the people that are in government, the people that are leading, okay, they are the ones that set the standard that others follow. So when you have government all within 1 week, and I'm talking of Mr. Festus Keyamo, by the way, all within 1 week said that, oh, this guy has done what is wrong, it's not acceptable, and according to the law and procedure, this person has to pay consequences. And within a week, the same minister is coming out to say, oh, where all sins are forgiven. And now, not only are all sins forgiven, guess what? You are the face that represents the best that we expect our people to be. That is just utterly disappointing. Utterly disappointing. With all due respect to Kwam, you know, and to government, you know, especially Mr. Festus Keyamo, this is the poorest way to inspire a people. To put it very starkly, this is completely behaving as if everything is just magic. This is like abracadabra. And you are wondering, is this actually happening to us as a people?
What should he have said differently?
No, the problem is that you cannot, within 1 week, met up punishment. Punishment has not been finished, and then you are saying that we have learned our lesson, and Kwam becomes the ambassador for protocol security in the airport.
So that shouldn't have happened.
There has to be time.
Okay.
Even though, you know, I see the need to try and say that, well, look, this guy has shown penitence. You know, government officials are even saying that, oh, it is to hear is human, all of that. All of that is okay. But there is the time to do what is right. This may be a right thing down the road, but this is not the right thing now.
Okay.
You can't be shoveling down somebody who represented misbehavior, somebody who endangered a flight and everybody in need, and as a matter of fact, who almost breached national security. You can't say within 1 week the person is an ambassador for protocol and security in the airport. That's not done. That is the most important thing that has happened, and it is devastating to our psyche as a people. This is not how people in government ought to be behaving. This is not how people in government ought to be behaving. If you want to make him an ambassador, wait down the road. It's pretty too early in the game. It sends the wrong signals.
Okay. In the case of Comfort,
there
are reports out there. I don't think I can confirm them, but there are reports out there that she's also being looked at as someone that can be made an ambassador for Ibom Air or some kind of deal, you know, where she's a spokesperson or something. It's out there. There are headlines about it that it's being mulled over. You also, how do you feel about that?
Well, you know, so the idea of finding people that have good behavior to get stuff done is a very good thing. But Kela, we have 200 million talented, successful, inspiring people, resilient people. There are a lot of better examples out there. And I'm not saying that anybody shouldn't be. But right now, when people have been involved in certain wrongdoing in the public space,
you don't reward bad behavior.
You don't give us the impression that you are rewarding bad behavior. Even if you want to scale down the punishment, you still give time to pass over. Kayla, what do you think the young people, the 7-year-olds, 9 years old, 11-year-olds, what message do you think they are learning? What kind of mental observation are they making of all of this? It's terrible what we are doing to ourselves as a people. For whatever reasons that this is being done, it's poor judgment. It reflects poorly on our character as a people. And this is my worry.
Okay.
So everybody has, yes, of course, based on what we've seen, Comfort did something wrong, and then the people that also handled that then took it a notch higher. So there'll be a lot of wrongdoings. Government has to come and say, look, let's calm everybody down, and let's begin to sort this thing one by one. And Festus Keyamo started on a very good note, but this sudden turnaround to begin to say that Kwam is now an ambassador is pretty too early to put it at the least. Yeah. It's pretty too early.
Okay. I mean, it's been jarring. Like I mentioned in the beginning, our guest yesterday is a social commentator, Mr. Naji.
Right.
And he said this is not over. Should this be over? If you had the ear of Comfort, for instance, would you tell her to pursue? Because her dignity is in tatters.
Yeah.
And we're looking at a woman here.
Yeah. Well, so
she's mentally not in a place where she can speak right now. At least that's what she said on her social media. She'll talk later.
Right.
But of course, as a woman, we're watching this and we know what happens when you're exposed like that.
Yeah.
Whether you were in the wrong or in the right, you are in tatters, mentally, physically, your life, your family, all of that.
Right.
Should she sue?
Well, Kayla, I want to speak to what all of us as a people, how this affects us, our commonwealth as one people. The way it affects us is that she misbehaved, the people who handled her misbehaved, and Mr. Festus Keyamo, as minister, is misbehaving. Kwam misbehaved. So that is how I see it. Now, everybody can then go as individuals to assert their rights. Yes, she does have a right, to seek redress for the excessive way that she's been dealt with. It's like dongle justice, okay? Regardless of what anybody does, even if you catch a thief in the public place, you don't have the right to met out the judgment. There is a process. Yes. Now, she did not get the benefit of that process, so her rights were violated, even though people saw her, did something that she shouldn't have done. Yeah. But yes, it's not an excuse for our rights to be that trampled upon. So my point is that all of us must have a reflective approach. Everybody, even people involved, they must have a reflective approach to this matter. All right. And do what is right for ourselves as a nation. And individuals they have a right to pursue, to seek their own redress. But generally as a people, all these things that are happening does not reflect well on us. As passengers on the flight, it doesn't reflect very well. As airline, it doesn't reflect very well. Mr. Festus Keyamo behaving on the part of government does not reflect very well. Okay. Kwam does not reflect very well, although Kwam did apologize, but what he did. So this is what we should be concerned as a people that, look, everybody here has been behaving badly, especially our Minister for Aviation. All
right, let's move on to other topics. Right. We saw yesterday, after the Federal Executive Council meeting, they stopped 7 years ban on getting new universities. Right. Many people welcome this. There's a poll online right now, and I'm seeing that a lot of people are agreeing with that, because the schools that exist already, we're watching the quality of those schools and how they're able to meet up. And you heard the Minister of Education say yesterday, there's going to be some kind of assessment of how you meet up with the standards required for tertiary institutions. Right. And we don't believe that many schools will be able to meet up with those standards. Right. Talk to us a little bit about that situation, because I remember at some point when you were a presidential spokesperson, it was a rave, wasn't it? Everybody wanting to open up a tertiary institution. We even did a special report here on Channels TV where we went to particular schools that were considered tertiary institutions, but we're not running as tertiary institutions. Talk to us a little bit about that.
So you know, we have to be very honest and frank with ourselves. The truth of the matter is that we got to a point where too many tertiary institutions we are getting this license, especially when, you know, because, you know, the right to private license, you know, was a thing, and it became very political, you know, and if you have a friend in government, you know, and you had some money, and you had some good ideas, you also want to start your own school, you know, so the whole thing became proliferated. So what the federal government has done is the right thing. And we have to be thankful, you know, to the president and the Federal Executive Council, and especially the minister for doing this. Look, you have universities where the number of staff at times exceed the numbers of students. It's ridiculous. So we must commend the federal government on this matter. This is like cleaning house. Now, what happens next is what we will pay attention to. Because if you look at it, you know, it will seem to me, and we've had this discussion with the JAM professor, actually when, sorry, the JAM registrar, Professor Laolu, when he came on Inside Sources, that look, what's really the thing? Do we need more universities, or we need to expand the resources and the capacities of existing one? It will seem to me, and that was his submission also, that maybe what we need to do is to actually expand the resources of the existing one to be able to take more people. Because a situation where you are having zero application, you know, of people doing JAM to federal tertiary institutions, that just tells us that how did we even got to that point? You know, so this is a very good one from the federal government, and we should all commend it.
The president is out of the country, or at least leaving today. I think I'm sure he must have left by now.
I think he's going to leave.
Pretty soon he'll be out of 2 trips. Well, he's going to stop at Dubai first, and then of course the Brazil and Japan trips. He's traveling again, and these are trips that are supposed to put our interests as a country on the table in these meetings that he's going for. Maybe you could speak to us a little bit about some of the summits, like the one that's happening in Japan is a summit that is pretty important for us here in Nigeria. Speak to us a little bit about these meetings that he has and what he should be bringing to the table or bringing back for us when he comes back from these trips.
So the important thing about when a president visits is just to put a stamp, the highest stamp of authority in the country, you know, trying to say that, look, I mean business. And I think what the president should be emphasizing, which is what he's been emphasizing for the most part in his foreign travels, is that, look, Nigeria is open for business. You know, the business environment is improving. We are trying to build a $1 trillion economy. We want investors to come in. You can trade and make money in Nigeria. We want you to bring your factories to, I mean, look at what is happening with our solid mirrors. You know, for the most part, what you have is the expatriates, as they call them. They come here, just take away the stuff and, you know, pay our people, and then go and turn them into finished goods, and then they are brought back to us. And we, you know, so we need factories here in Nigeria. We need assembly plants here in Nigeria. This is the kind of things that we expect the president to be pushing in all of this economic diplomacy, which is what has become essential.
Just so the Nigerian people can get what details are, he's going to stop over in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, before proceeding to Japan. And in Japan, he'll attend the 9th Tokyo International City of Yokohama from August the 20th to August the 22nd. You know, and then after, you know, so that's the one that's, you know, that we're wondering what he's going to be bringing to the table for the Nigerian people. But in Brazil, he will hold a bilateral meeting with his host and then attend a business forum with Brazilian investors. So these are important engagements.
I think there's something good seems to be in the offering from Brazil. You remember that not too long ago, the president was in Brazil. You know, so hopefully we're going to have some very active economic relationship with Brazil. I remember that when President Buhari was there, Brazil brought a lot of things on the table, and it seems that some of those things, especially in the area of agricultural processing, I think some of those things are beginning to germinate in a way that can help, especially the agri sector and several of our productive sectors. I think, all told, if we have a situation where where the president is able to bring in more foreign investment to Nigeria, to bring in more, the business is situated here, the factories, the agri processing centers, which, a lot of them are springing up, especially with what AFDB is doing. We can begin to step up our game, especially in the area of agriculture and other productive zones. It's hopefully a good thing.
Mr. Laolu, that particular story. That particular story from River State, because what we heard from the sole administrator's side is we've asked for a refund of money, but he says this is a conversation that shouldn't be flogged, so to speak. He said that the money was meant to be a sponsorship for the conference. But Mr. Afam Osigwe is a brilliant lawyer, and I respect him very, very much. But that money is a blight on the MBA, and it would have been more decent to return the money. What is the sponsorship of River State doing when the conference is out of River State? So and I see that it's not comfortable to talk about it, which is his right. But it's important to talk to our lawyers that we have a lot of lawyers in Nigeria who will give the 300 million naira very easily and secure the reputation of MBA. If somebody gave you a gift because you were going to host the event in their state, or call it sponsorship, now you have moved the event away. What is the state doing? Giving you a sponsorship. You should return the money. That is what decency demands. And I hope that one day NBA will correct itself on this error. All right, let's move on now to a few other things that we said we were going to talk about. This jailbreak in Kebbi, in the midst of a region where we're not quite sure how the insecurity situation is being handled properly. We do hear from the military. Of course, in all the while that we've been talking about value jet and Ibom Air and all of that, there have been military campaigns going on.
Right.
And we saw that there was even one that backfired on the terrorists a few days ago. So let's talk a little bit about this prison break and what can be done about it.
Well, it's a very simple thing at the level of talking about it. We need to secure the prisons, much more than we have done, and we must acknowledge that there have been quite a few, improvements, by the minister and the authorities in charge. But it just tells us that we haven't done enough to prevent. I mean, it's a very something that we should all be very afraid of. That prisoners have the potential and becoming quite often to get out of jail, by just blasting their way out. It's something that should worry us, and I imagine that it is worrying us.
Yes.
We've not done enough. It's as simple as that. There are still things that we need to do. The people in charge ought to know exactly what it is. And maybe they need to have a conversation with us openly, just so we understand what has been done and what is there to be done, which they intend to do. What we need to hear from government is to say that, look, this is an ongoing problem. This is the roadmap that we have. This is how far we have gone, and this is where we're going to head. These are the things that we are not able to do now, which we will do in the future. We need to have confidence that when somebody is in prison for doing wrong and they are serving time, that they will be there, and serve the time, pay their dues to society before they get out. Because it's dangerous if somebody that committed murder finds his way out there and you don't know what is happening. It is a question of national security, and I hope that the people responsible in government, they understand what has to happen.
Let's talk a little bit about politics. We'll start with Kebbi State, the ADC.
Right.
Rattled. Well, these are teething problems, at least from the commentary we're seeing online about this situation. The suspension of people who are in the camp of one of Mr. Malami, and then of course we're watching and seeing how the ADC is trying to get itself together as it prepares for this grand taking over of government that they said they are going to do in 2027. Do they have a chance? It does feel like the narrative about them is beginning to change. People are beginning to understand where they're coming from, and then there's talk about Goodluck Jonathan joining the race. People are saying maybe he should join the ADC and maybe give them the oomph that they would need to be able to wrestle power away from the APC. What do you make of that whole situation?
Yeah, I think, you know, and this is my immediate guess. I think Nigerians are beginning to figure out, you know, the games that our political elites play. And I'm praying that this is exactly what is happening.
Yeah.
And to know that, yes, we do need opposition, especially, you know, at a time like this when you have an APC that is quite very, you know, pompous. You know, the party has become very pompous. Yeah. You know, not that it's a bad thing in politics. You got to show your strength. You know, it's part of the game. But if you don't have an opposition, you know, power corrupts absolutely, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So we do need a virile opposition to put the ruling party in check. That said, I don't think that it's going to be this ADC. And all the things that we are seeing is beginning to show us that, you know, I mean, look, Peter Obi hasn't joined ADC. Atiku Abubakar hasn't really joined ADC.
And then at local levels, we're seeing these
and then
issues.
You are seeing all these contestations, you know, so, and then you hearing people now talking about Jonathan going to PDP. Even Peter Obi, you know, doesn't seem to be, you know, looking towards the direction of ADC. There's really nothing to cheer beyond the fact that you have a group of people who can call out APC, which is a good thing.
It's early. It's early. We have 2 more years.
Yeah,
we have 2 more years.
All ADC can do is to just keep calling out, you know, APC and put some fear of God in them. That is good. But whether they will be able to actually wrestle power from APC, the way they are going now, I'm completely, you know, I have no expectations about that. PDP might be resurrecting if they have the common sense to bring in Jonathan, to bring in Peter Obi. You know, it's going to, they can get a momentum from that.
The APC says if Jonathan joins this race, he would, his reputation will be solid. You know, he has built a reputation as I mean, if he joins the PDP, if he joins the race at all, whatever party, whether it's the ADC or the APC or the PDP, what we're hearing from the APC is he should stay out of it, because if he gets into this race, that reputation that he's built over the years will be solid.
That is what they have to say. I mean, Kayla, of course, they're not going to say that, okay, this guy's going to... But let me tell you, let's be very frank about it. If you have a race that is between President Tinubu and President Goodluck Jonathan, wow, that is going to be a race.
That's a race.
That's going to be a race.
Okay.
Yes, of course, we can begin to talk about the candidates and other stuff, but that is going to be a real contest indeed, and it will advance Nigeria's democracy.
Mr. Laolu Akande, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
For your insights this morning, Laolu Akande, former presidential aide and presenter of Inside Sources.
Thank you so much.
Right here on Channels Television.